This is Harsh Rules. I'm Ben Harsh, and today we're going to look at a rare game in my collection, Risk Black Ops. Risk Black Ops was a marketing prototype that Hasbro sent out to reviewers in the spring of 2008 to generate buzz and anticipation. You see, the original Risk launched in 1959, and this new edition was kind of a build-up to the game's 50th anniversary. Rob Daviau redesigned the rules to appeal to modern audiences with faster gameplay and a new reinforcement system that brought the game to a close quickly. However, this alone was not enough to get anyone excited about a 50-year-old game. So artistically, Black Ops abandoned the Napoleonic War theme that the game had used for the last 50 years and instead opted for a gritty, modern warfare look. The entire game is done in matte black, with barbed wire and dog tags. As a result, a 50-year-old game now looks new and edgy. However, the final game that would eventually ship in the fall of 2008 as Risk Revised Edition would look completely different than this edition of the game. Obviously, this is a little different, so let's rewind and take a look at the original prototype, Risk Black Ops. It has barbed wire that runs all across the front. It's got the dog tags as Risk Black Ops. And of course the tagline here, history is written by the victors, or something to that effect. The barbed wire motif, I guess, runs along the edge. And then there's like a blood splatter here. More barbed wire, made in China. Okay. So, and as you'll see, my copy I picked up a number of years ago, and it is damaged. So currently this game goes for a ridiculous price on eBay. I've seen it $500 or more dollars. I picked this up several years ago. Like I said, it was damaged. It's all kind of scratched up. It's got some dinged corners. I think it's missing one cardboard piece. I think I got it for 60 or 70 bucks. As a game, this is indistinguishable from the version that ultimately came out. This was put together by Rob and his team at Hasbro, I think in the spring of 2008. And then the regular version that we all got came out in the fall. So this was like an early get to the reviewers, get them excited. This is probably one of the, miracles that Rob Daviau pulled off at Hasbro when he worked there. He basically designed and released the game like visually that never went to the public. This game was, visually redesigned into what we're familiar with today, which is the normal Risk Revised Edition. And then you also got, which is the kind of the kissing cousin of this one, Risk Onyx Edition. So if you perchance are in the market for buying one of these, as an owner, I'm not selling this one, I'm keeping this one, but if you're looking on the internet, I'm going to warn you up front, there's some things that you need to know about this copy. It is a scratch fest. Like, this thing scratches super easy. And it's kind of matte black, so it has that feel. But, like, there's scratches, there's scuffs. I mean, this thing is not, the back is just horrendous. This thing is not something you need to keep. If you buy it and you're a collector, you probably want to keep it in the plastic, because this thing, ding quarters, it is just super sensitive to everything. So let's go ahead and open this thing up and take a look. When you got this in the mail, it came with this postcard that is from Rob Daviau. It's signed by Rob and the team. And it says, "The board game Risk is changing. This new edition, designed to play faster and more intensely, won't be available for the general game-playing public until later this summer. In the meantime, we thought some people, such as you, should get the chance to preview the new rules of the game. In this box is Risk Black Ops, a special edition of the game that showcases the updated rules. However, the pieces and graphics have been created for this version alone. You are now holding one of only 1,000 copies of this special preview edition of the game. The designers of the game thought you would appreciate playing this new version before anyone else." enjoy. Some of the behind the scenes I've researched on Board Game Geek, just looking at this game, there's some interesting details. So where it says the pieces and graphics, the graphics, yeah, maybe were designed, but the pieces, as you'll see in a moment, were kind of robbed from another game they had on the shelf. So they kind of cobbled this thing together. But I'll show you when we open the box. But this you got, it was taped to the top. This would have been wrapped in plastic. So you get this in the mail as a reviewer or, you know, in quote unquote influencer back in 2008 to get it and start bragging about, look, I got a game that no one else can have. And it's got a snotty little line that's fun, you know, or stuff. So let's take a look at the actual game. So here we have the game board, which we will take a look at momentarily. So we have pieces. So there's green pieces. See, there's the little round piece, and then there's the circle piece there. And that comes in yellow, dark blue, black, which is really surprising, red, and then you have the cities, which are just cubes. Okay, and then you have, this one is sparkly. And this one is sparkly too. Then you have kind of these dog tags and the little cardboard bits. So they say stuff on it, Control Asia and things like that. And then of course, you've got the cards. So you've got the Black Ops barbed wire here. And then the cards themselves, see the barbed wire here, and then instead of stars, they got these bursts instead. But this would become the star system that I love so much better than the old matching system. Yep. So there's all that. Now, let's put this aside for a second. So let's look at this. So according to a post I read on Board Game Geek, this is the bookshelf edition of the game. And apparently, at least Rob Dalvio alluded to, that this version of the game, they had a bunch of these in storage, apparently, and they just stole these out of there. So, as you notice, so here's the black. Here's the black. It's the same pieces that they pulled out of here to do that. Here's the green ones. And here's green. Blue. Blue. Red, red, and then yellow, yellow. So I think they had a bunch of these in the warehouse, and they just stole all the pieces out of them to cut the cost for making the, you know, the quote-unquote limited edition, which they didn't have any pink ones, but then the older version of the game supported an additional player. This version eliminated a player, so technically, you know, there could have been a pink player as well, but that player is usually eliminated so quickly on. The designers are like, well, that's, you know, let's just play with, you know, one less than the old classic version. So that's kind of just an interesting tidbit that actually majority of this limited expensive game is cobbled together from just old parts of this classic edition. It's kind of creative, actually. You got a bunch of stuff in the warehouse. You kind of use what you have to do to make a cool thing. So what they actually got produced was probably just these cards, you know, the dog tags, you know, the 2 sparkly dice, which I wouldn't be surprised if these aren't from some other place. The irregular dice are pretty straightforward. And then the board is unique. I swear, I cut the whole video together and then I realized I'd forgotten to film the rule book. So anyway, these are the rules for Black Ops. So you've got the nice big, you know, logo with the hanging dog tag and the barbed wire. So that theme carries through to the rules. But what's unique about these is this is a folio design. So when you open the rules, there's a pocket, and in the pocket are cards that teach you the rules, and it's all organized in a filing system. So here you can, you know, it tells you how to reference on your turn, you know, how to draft troops, just in case you get confused. So it's a really nice, kind of a little bit unique way to look at rules. So go over this side. Everyone is a card. You pull it out. This is side 1. Side 2. Side 2 has information on it as well. And this is all about the overview of the components. So you learn all about what the different pieces are. So here you can see the dog tags or the objectives, and then the little reward tags. Now this is really annoying because they're just super tiny little pieces of cardboard. But this was kind of the prototype, so it is what it is. But it goes over all the different components. And then the shiny dice, which are the bonus attack dice. So that's kind of cool. So that's all of that. So then go to the next one, and it talks about how to set up the game and basic training. 4 players, 5 players. It gives you all the details on how to do that. Then here's drafting troops. So if you get confused, you can go to this card. Everything's colorful, lots of pictures. Really well designed as far as this goes. How to attack. And then here is the objective awards. It shows all the different dog tags, minor and major objectives. And then here's the little, you know, I don't even know what these are, the little strips for minor rewards and major rewards. I didn't like this design. They did change that to the chevrons. That I thought was a little bit better. Here is maneuvering your troops. So you got each phase, and then some information here on the back that makes it seem super secretive. So, and then you got the big burst symbol because they hadn't settled on the star yet. And then the back is got the command room, you know, the variation, how to play the game. Talks all about what you need to do and how you do that. So I'll organize that a little bit later, but that is the rules. So for the board, let's take a look at that now. So as you can see, it's very simplistic. I'll move it around so I can keep it in frame. But you can see, has more of the barbed wire here, kind of the compass of the world. It's you know, once again, matte black, and as you can see, there are scratches everywhere where there's folds. So this thing is not designed to really be high use. Like here's scratches all over Greenland, and some of this is when I bought the game, I didn't do it, but I know some of these scratches I've created not even trying to. So then you've got your spot here at the bottom. Let me see if I can get this up so you can see it. The dog tags, starting troops, the stars you need. So here's some of the texturing here on the side for the barbed wire again. Barbed wire along the bottom. Yeah, I also don't like the fact that it folds, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 folds in this thing. So you got creases everywhere. You know, it fits in a compact little box, but I don't know. I'd rather have a bigger box than not have all this stuff. But then again, this was meant as kind of just a promotional item. It's not meant to be, it's not designed for rigorous long-term gameplay. So one last thing to show you guys is the Onyx edition, which I have a couple of copies of that. So you can see here that the design is really similar. You've got the circles, you know, the circles here. You've got, it's hard to see here, North Africa. So very similar design. There are very faint gray lines. I don't know if it's even getting picked up on the camera, but it's replicated on the Onyx. It's just instead of gray, that's light blue, and then you have some reflective ones. You've got the same, you know, some of the blood splatters are the same. Things have been moved around. In this one, you have barbed wire in the corner, which is the same as in the Black Ops edition. It's hard to see here, but it's got the barbed wire. So it's almost like the Onyx edition has the exact same design. It's just been tweaked somewhat. One thing with the Onyx edition, though, is they had some sort of mental lapse, and they did not put the line here. They later corrected that, which I do have the corrected version as well. So there it is. It's corrected. It's wrong. So these Onyx editions, they're so big. As the box is huge and the board is big when you put it. I have one that has hooks on it that I mounted on my wall. But they're pretty cheap. Even today you can get out and get one off of eBay for, I don't know, 50, 60 bucks. They're not that expensive, and they're really nice. I will say, I mean, you can't see, it's like a little board table, and it locks together, and there's 2 pieces, so you don't have all the folds and stuff that drive me nuts. You know, here you can see, let me get rid of the dud one so you don't have to look at that. So you can see here, instead of dog tags, though, you have the chevrons. I like the dog tags better, but, you know, apparently you can't get everything you want in life. So the chevrons are there. There's kind of a, you know, embossed globe, the same symbol, but it's just black and white over here. So just thought I'd show you that. If you're desperate to get a Black Ops copy, please don't spend $500-600 for it. I think, you know, as an investment, if you were to get a pristine one, you know, it's going to be decades before you could recoup it in some sort of sale. I think that's just silly. The Onyx edition is very similar, and it's very nice. This is a nice collectible. I got it for, in my opinion, fairly cheap for what it really is. I like to have it, take it out, show people, look at it every once in a while. I actually, if I play, I would prefer to play on the Onyx, you know, edition versus this one. So, just wanted to share that with you guys. Once again, this is Ben Harsh for Harsh Rules. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. If you found this video helpful, please give me a like and share with your friends. To be the first notified when the next episode of Harsh Rules becomes available, please hit the bell icon for notifications. And as always, this is Ben Harsh for Harsh Rules. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.